All right, breaking news just in. US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order imposing an additional penalty on India. What is the penalty? The penalty is 25%. So you already had a 25% tariff imposed by Donald Trump last week. Now this is set to come into effect tomorrow. With this, there is also an additional penalty that Donald Trump has imposed. And this is because he's not seen progress in Russia-Ukraine talks. Also, he believes that India is fueling the war in Ukraine by continuing to buy Russian oil. Remember, we have been reporting over the last 3 to 4 days that India is not just the only buyer of Russian oil. You've got China, you've got Turkey, you've got Brazil. Even European Union had massive LNG purchases and fossil fuel purchases from Russia since the war began. Now, let's just go according to what the executive order says, and I quote them now. According and as consistent with the applicable law, articles of India imported into the customs territory of the US shall be subject to an additional ad valorem rate of duty of 25%. Subject to Section 3 of this order, this rate of duty shall be effective with respect to goods entered for consumption or withdrawn from warehouse for consumption on or after 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 21 days after the date of this order, except for goods that were loaded onto a vessel at the port of loading and in transit on the final mode of transit prior to entry into the US before 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So there is a 21-day period before this additional penalty comes into effect. Hopefully, we might be able to find a breakthrough in talks till then, but you have a 21-day period, and these tariffs would come into effect from the 17th of September 2025. So if we do not have any breakthrough or deal till then, the tariff would go up to 50% on Indian goods. We're also seeing that the ad valorem duty imposed in Section 2 of this order shall be in addition to any other duties, fees, taxes, exactions and charges applicable to such imports unless subject to existing or future actions under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act. So what does this mean? This means that this additional duty is a penalty on top of duties which were announced earlier by Donald Trump and the exemptions under Section 232, which is under the Trade Expansion Act on grounds of national security. Those exemptions continue. So that semiconductors, for example, pharmaceuticals, lumber, critical minerals, fuel for that matter. So these are areas where the exemptions will continue. So no additional penalty, no tariffs on pharma, no penalty tariffs will apply to steel, aluminium, auto sectors, which are subject to sectoral tariffs. Those continue to be accepted. Pharma, semiconductors, all the items that were in the 232 list, in the list of exemptions issued by Donald Trump via an executive order on the 2nd of April, all those exemptions continue as of now. And just for those viewers coming in, Donald Trump has now imposed an additional penalty of 25% on India. Let me just read out that paragraph for the benefit of our viewers. I have received additional information that India has been buying directly or indirectly from the US, and they are also selling to other countries. The exact line being Section 2 of this executive order, imposition of tariffs. I find that the government of India is currently directly or indirectly importing Russian Federation oil. This is the reason why this penalty has been imposed. S.C. Garg, former finance secretary, joining us. Mr. Garg, 25% we may have absorbed. Anything above that, and if you have a 50% tariff, probably trade would come to a standstill. How badly are we hit right now? And do you see this 21-day period for the tariff to kick in as a warning, as a chance for India to come to the negotiating table, offer a compromise?
See, very clearly, even at 25%, that half of Indian trade was lost. 50%, no trade takes place. So trade is off the table completely as far as India and US are concerned if these tariffs kicks in. That's number one. Now, how does one take it? I don't think India can sort of accept the Trump's condition. And therefore, these 50% will stay where they are. And we are in for a situation where the trade is lost. We'll need to look at other options. of exporting these goods elsewhere or consume it domestically till the time the Trump system implodes and the American consumers revolt to make this reverse.
Right. Mr. Garg, I request you to stay with us. You know, this executive order also says that if any country retaliates, I will modify this order to ensure the efficacy of the actions herein ordered. Let me go across to our managing editor, Shireen Bhan, who's also joining us. Shireen, this is what businesses had been worried about. 25% we may have still managed to absorb some way or the other, but 50% almost means no trade.
Yeah. Well, no trade as far as the U.S. is concerned, Parikshit. We need to be careful about that. But, as you were pointing out, one, the exemptions continue under Section 232. And two, what I want to highlight is that this order comes into effect from after 21 days. So there is a window of 21 days. Now, why has President Trump given this window of 21 days? Remember, when the tariffs were announced, the original 25%, there was a 7-day window, and President Trump and the White House said this is not for negotiation. This is essentially to ensure that the customs departments and so on and so forth can move to the imposition of tariffs. Now, there is a 21-day window. This has to be resolved. This is going to have to be a situation that both sides come to some sort of a middle path on. A rapprochement has to be broached at this point in time, because this is not going to end well. But let me bring Mr. Garg back into the conversation along with Mr. Jayant Dasgupta. Mr. Garg, 21-day, that is the window at this point in time. Now, do you believe that this opens up the possibility for some sort of an outreach, and do you believe that some sort of an outreach is the need of the hour?
I don't think this is possible. If at earlier stage, when there was no 25% kind of thing, we were not able to enter into the deal. Now, if you do it for two reasons. Number one, you would be seen as surrendering completely to the blackmail of Mr. Trump. I don't think that will go at all very well with any of the Indian domestic constituency. Second, if you do it, you don't know where it will land. Suppose it goes back to the 25% only. Even there, you would be completely hurt. Will you be able to give the access to American goods at zero or very substantially low rates? Will you be able to sort of allow the agriculture and other kind of items to come in? No. Will you be able to buy defense and other equipment? So it's impossible to do a deal with America at this moment by sort of trying to appeal to his some sense of fair play or something like that. This is the time when one should tell very clearly that, all right, we are not in business with you at this moment. Let us wait. I'm sure very soon, couple of months, it will implode in America. The American consumers will revolt, and Trump and the company will have to back down. So I don't think we should be surrendering.
Okay, Mr. Jayant Dasgupta with us as well. Mr. Jayant Dasgupta, it's